నమస్తే ఫ్రెండ్స్, నేను మీ సంపత్. వెల్కమ్ టు అవర్ గార్డెన్ ఛానల్. రీసెంట్గా సిటీ ఆఫ్ టెర్రస్ గార్డెన్స్ సిటీజీ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ నుంచి నాకు ఇన్వైట్ వచ్చిందనమాట. స్కూల్లో ఈవెంట్ జరుగుతుంది, మీరు ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఇవ్వాలి అని చెప్పేసి. ఈవెంట్ వచ్చేసి షేక్పేట్లో ఉంటున్న ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్కూల్ యాజమాన్యానికి, అలాగే సిటీ ఆఫ్ టెర్రస్ గార్డెన్స్ గ్రూప్ అడ్మిన్స్కి ముందు థ్యాంక్స్ చెప్పదలుచుకున్నా, నాకు ఇంత మంచి అవకాశం ఇచ్చినందుకు. పిల్లలు అయితే చాలా ఇంట్రెస్ట్ చూపించారు, చాలా క్యూరియస్గా ఉన్నారనమాట. ఆ ఏజ్ నుంచే వాళ్ళకి గార్డెనింగ్ గురించి అలవాటు చేయడం, ఈ టెర్రస్ గార్డెనింగ్ గురించి అవేర్నెస్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం ఎంతైనా అవసరం. వీడియోస్ చూడని వాళ్ళకు కూడా ఈ విధంగా ఒక మంచి ఆపర్చునిటీ అనుకుంటున్నాను నేను. వాళ్ళకు కూడా కొంచెం అవేర్నెస్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం, మొక్కల మీద ఇంట్రెస్ట్ కల్పించడం, కంపోస్టింగ్ నేర్పించడం. ఈ వీడియోలో వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చిన ప్రజెంటేషన్లో నేను ముఖ్యంగా కంపోస్టింగ్ గురించి ఫోకస్ ఎక్కువ పెట్టాను. అండ్ మొక్కలు ఏ విధంగా పెంచుకోవచ్చు, ఎలా స్టార్ట్ చేయొచ్చు అనేవి కొన్ని రకాల టిప్స్ వాళ్ళకి షేర్ చేశాను అనమాట. ఉన్న తక్కువ సమయంలో ఎక్కువ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇవ్వడం కూడా మంచిది కాదు, అందుకని లిమిటెడ్గా ఎంతవరకు వాళ్ళు యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయగలుగుతారో అంతవరకే ఇచ్చా. షార్ట్గా ఎండ్ చేద్దామని చెప్పేసి ఒక 1 అవర్లోనే సెషన్ అంతా అయిపోగొట్టాం అనమాట. ప్రజెంటేషన్ అంతా ఇంగ్లీష్లోనే ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది, క్షమించాలి, అందరికీ అర్థం కాకపోవచ్చు. అంటే అక్కడ స్టూడెంట్స్కి ఏంటంటే కొంతమందికి తెలుగు అస్సలు రాదు, ఇంగ్లీష్ అయితే అందరికీ ఈజీగా అర్థం చేసుకుంటారని చెప్పేసి ఐ గేవ్ ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్. సో ఇప్పుడు ఆ ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఎలా ఇచ్చాయంటే అనేది వివరాలన్నీ చూద్దాం. అండ్ ఆ స్కూల్లో కూడా ఎంత మంచిగా అనిపించిందంటే, చుట్టూ పెద్ద పెద్ద వృక్షాలు, మహావృక్షాలు కొన్ని ఉన్నాయి. అండ్ వెజిటబుల్, నేను అనుకున్న జస్ట్ గ్రీనరీ అట్లనే ఉంటుందేమో అని అనుకున్నా, బట్ వాళ్ళు వెజిటబుల్ గార్డెనింగ్ కూడా చేస్తారట. స్కూల్లో మధ్యలో ఒక మంచి వెంటిలేషన్ వచ్చే ప్లేస్లా ఉంది, అయితే బాల్కనీ టైప్ అనమాట, అన్ని ఫ్లోర్స్కి బాల్కనీలా ఉంటుంది. ఆ గోడల మీద పాట్స్ పెట్టి అవి కింద పడకుండా తాళ్లతో అట్లా వైరింగ్ చేసి దాంట్లో వెజిటబుల్స్, అవి కొత్తిమీర, మెంతికూర అట్లాంటి లీఫీ వెజిటబుల్స్ పెంచుతారంట. ఏ క్లాస్కి అవి అట్లా పెంచుతారన్న. కాకపోతే అన్నీ చూపించేంత టైం నాకు దొరకలేదు. ఈసారి మళ్ళీ అవకాశం దొరికితే అవన్నీ వాళ్ళు ఎలా చేస్తారో చూపిస్తా. అండ్ వీడియోలోకి అయితే వెళ్ళిపోదాం. ఇప్పుడు ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఎలా ఉందో చూసేద్దాం. వాట్ డూ యూ నో అబౌట్ టెర్రస్ గార్డెనింగ్? One at a time, please.
We can do gardening in terrace.
Not only terrace, everywhere in fact. Are you guys interested to know about me? My name is Sampath. My profession is I am a software employee. I work for a multinational company called Factset Systems India Private Limited, which is quite near to your school in fact. That was my profession. I'm a passionate terrace gardener. I'm really proud to say that I am growing vegetables. I am growing vegetables that we consume at our home.
From which age are you?
At which age? I didn't grow plants at your age, to be honest. But my mother used to grow. I just used to help her. Also, I am an influencer. I have a YouTube channel called ORG Gardener. And currently I'm having about 1.75 lakhs followers. Definitely.
Which was the first plant you grew?
Oh, interesting question. Spinach was the first leafy vegetables that I started with. We'll talk about why terrace gardening is important. And I could see all of you guys are really interested in growing plants at the early stage. And all of you guys, yes?
Are you the guy on the image?
Yeah, I am the one. I am the one, and the background you can see is my terrace garden. So good, thank you. What's your name first?
G. Simonu.
Simonu. Okay, tell me, what is the importance of growing vegetables at home?
For consuming.
For consuming?
And getting nutritious food.
Exactly, absolutely correct. And there are multiple benefits. There are multiple benefits of doing terrace gardening at home. Firstly, we can grow our vegetables in organic method. What you get in the market is not assured that it's grown. It might have grown with chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides. It's good for environment. Absolutely correct. Another benefit of terrace gardening is the physical activity that we do. It's my passion. So I do physical activity. When growing plants, you'll have to do potting mix. You'll have to do lot of cleaning. Terrace gardening is also a difficult part. So everything you do at terrace gardening is kind of physical activity, and also it gives mental peace. So for doing terrace gardening, what all we need? Can anybody tell? Yes? Yeah. Sorry, your name please? Nashra.
We need soil, we need seeds, we need that body, sunlight, water.
Yes, we need water, sunlight, pots, soil, everything. Please calm down for a few minutes. Allow me a few minutes to speak, then I'll interact with you guys. As we are living in a metropolitan city, I don't think we will get a free space outside, free land. So, but we will have balconies and terrace that we can utilize for growing plants. At my age, I mean, when I was at your age, we used to have a backyard. There we used to grow vegetables and all. But these days, having backyard is like a bliss. What all you need? A container, potting mixture, and seeds or saplings. Right? I'll try. I'll talk to you later. Okay. When it comes to containers, you can literally use everything. As I have already visited your backyard, I have seen you utilizing leftover monitors, leftover CPUs, paint buckets, anything that can hold soil can be used for gardening. So like you can see on the image, I have used a thermocol box and few other pots over there. It was very limited initial days. It was having about 3 to 5 containers, that's it. And where I have tomatoes, spinach and few other leafy vegetables. And in fact, you guys can do the same. You can start with whatever you have at your home. This is another interesting creation that I did. Actually, a leftover bed frame we have at home. So I tied some wires so that I can place a bag on it. For purchasing bag, I did search in the Amazon, but the bags are really expensive. So I thought of stitching something with rice sacks. So I did stitch the rice sacks. I have seen you guys also did the same thing. You have used a rice sack over there and you did planted something. So similarly, I did the same. And for the first layer, I added leftover wood chips. There was a woodwork going in our home, nearby home actually, not in our house. So I collected all the wood chips from there and I added it as one layer and then I added the potting mix. Then the result is this. I did not tell you before, there is a group called City of Terrace Gardens, CTG. In a way, that group is providing lot of guidance to the passionate terrace gardeners like me. How many of you really wanted to grow methi at your home after seeing my images? Already you're already growing. Excellent. Now we shall talk about compost making. Potting mixture is nothing but mixture of elements that we can put in the container so that the plants can grow healthy, right? So if you are growing in an open land, the plant can absorb the nutrients and plants can develop its roots all the way down and all the way towards the right and left. So it can absorb the nutrients from the soil. But when it comes to the container gardening, the plant will be having limited space. So you'll have to provide all the nutrients that are sufficient for the plant, right? So what are the nutrients that plant would require? Nutrients, major nutrients. I would like to, you must be aware about nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, and there are rest of minor elements such as magnesium, sulfur, boron, iron. How do we make compost is what I am going to tell you, and I must say you all guys should learn and practice at home because it is free of cost. You are producing free soil so you can grow more and more plants. Can you see the video there? Initially how it was. You can see how I am making compost. I added wood chips and then I added a layer of cocoa peat and the leftover rice and leftover vegetables or fruit peels. I am mixing them with mixing some soil into that food waste, then adding it as a layer. and then I added a thin layer of coco peat. I'll tell you what is coco peat and all. And then I added another kitchen waste and some soil again. And sour buttermilk. I'll tell you what is the importance of sour buttermilk, but pay attention to what I'm doing. Another bin of kitchen waste. Kitchen waste would be having like leftover bread, leftover rice, everything that is biodegradable. Yep. I'll tell you what is diluted Jivamritam and what is the importance of it. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun growing plants at home, making compost at home? I am so happy to see all of you guys enjoying the video. When we are composting, she's my daughter and I am involving my daughter in everything. And that is the compost you get towards the end. We'll talk about everything. Have you guys liked it? Okay, now I'll explain what all we need for doing composting, okay? What is I'd like to hear from you. Raise your hands only, don't shout sir, okay? I'll ask the question first. What is the waste that will be produced from our kitchen?
Rice, bread, rice, kitchen chapati.
Yes, so leftover rice, leftover chapatis, bread and all, right? What else?
Curry.
Curries, what else?
Vegetables.
Vegetables and fruit peels, rotten vegetables. Sometimes vegetables and fruits will be rotten in the fridge itself if we don't open them for some period of time, right? So basically everything and anything that is produced from kitchen can be composted. So as you can see on the image, in the middle we have vegetables and fruit peels. I chop them finely so that compost can be made quickly. If you don't chop them, they will take more time for decomposition and few other bins of kitchen waste and all. So the leftover fruits or leftover vegetables is basically the produce of the plant itself, right? The fruit, where did the fruit come from? It came from the market. That is the answer you're going to say, I know. But before it came to the market itself, it was from the farm. So the process of composting is nothing but converting that leftover fruit into the plant food. Even the human body itself, once the person is died, where did it will be buried in the soil or it will be burnt, right? So in a way it is also mixed into the soil. So in the same process we are actually mixing the leftover waste into the soil to make it a rich fertile food for our plants. So when you are doing composting, you will have to maintain the balance of wet and dry waste. So majority of the waste produced from the kitchen is actually wet waste, right? Vegetable peels would be having water. Leftover rice would actually be having water. Everything actually, leftover fruits, everything would be having water. So in order to balance, what is the dry waste? Dry waste would be dry leaves. I have already seen your compost pits. Ma'am already shown me. You guys actually collecting the leftover, the fallen dry leaves and adding them to the compost pit. Sour buttermilk will be having lot of bacteria. Bacteria helps the waste to get decomposed easily. It accelerates the composting process. If you don't add buttermilk also, it's fine, but it's going to take more time. But we want it to be done in a shorter period of time. That's why we do add compost accelerators. So in order, if you don't have dry leaves, you can compensate with coco peat. Coco peat is nothing but the cocoa coconuts, right? After consuming the coconut water, the leftover coconut is crushed and then separated the coir inside. That is where you get coco peat. Coco peat would be the alternate for dry leaves. Pay attention to the video again and see how the compost is getting transformed from the initial stage to the final stage. So this is the first stage. You have to take a container and make drain holes to it. If you don't make drain holes to the container, it's going to stink, right? As in when the waste is getting decomposed, it will produce some liquids that would stink a lot. So in order to avoid that, you'll have to make drain holes and add dry waste, nothing but coco peat or dry leaves. So in the video I have added coco peat. So how I am adding in layers, you can repeat the same at your home. You can also take a container, make drain holes to it and add some layer of dry leaves and wet waste produced from the kitchen and fill it in the same manner. I wish the video was with audio, it would have been more interesting. Jeevamrutam is actually altogether a big concept, but you don't have to use Jeevamrutam at this stage. Okay, maybe if at all I had a chance to come to your school again, I'll definitely try to demonstrate how the Jeevamrutam is made and what is the importance of it. Have you guys learned anything about composting? Maybe a little idea? Yes? How many of you are going to do composting at home? I could see only a few hands raised. Okay. Imagine what is the importance of composting also, I'll tell you. Even though you are not growing any plants, it's important to make compost at home so that no waste from your home will be dumped into the dumping yards. So if all of us start composting at home, we will not dump anything into the dumping vehicle that comes to our home, which means there will be no dumping yards and only plastic covers and all will be produced as a waste, right? And those can be recycled. If we do composting, we are doing a lot help to the mother nature. I also do vermicomposting, nothing but the compost that was made from the kitchen waste. If it is fed to the worms and worms eat and leave the casting, excrete from the worms is called vermicompost. This was me. I was preparing potting mix for my containers with the compost that I made at home. This is some produce. Now we shall talk about controlling pests and how do we fertilize our plants. Pest is something that you would see as soon as your plant starts growing, they will be attacked by pests. Why do pests attack plants? Why do you pests? Because pests also live on the plant, just like human beings. We live on plants, right? We eat the vegetables and we eat what is produced from the plants. Similarly, the pest insects will also be depending on the plants. They will try to attack your plants. They will try to eat the baby plants that are produced, that are just germinated also. You will have to do pest controlling at starting of the initial stage itself. So how do we do pest management? All of you guys must be having curd at home, right? You will eat curd. The leftover curd, you can take about a glass of leftover curd, for example 200 ml, right? You keep it aside for 2 days. It will get fermented. Then you dilute it in about 2 liters of water. You shake it well and then strain out the hard material, the solid parts. The leftover would be the liquid, right? You just spray that liquid on your baby plants. That will not only fertilize the plant but also eradicate the pests. Instead of wasting that, you can collect that rice washed water in a container or bottle. You can keep it in somewhere in a kitchen for about 1 to 2 days. It may stink a bit, but it will give lot of benefits to your plants. It will be having nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium as well. That will be having lot of microbes. Microbial activity on containers would help the plant to grow better. I think all of these microbial activities, nitrogen, phosphorus, composting must be covered in the academics, I believe. So it's a practical work when you do it at your home. You just practice composting and practice growing plants at your home. You will be satisfied a lot. If you don't have a capability of growing plants on a terrace, but let's try growing on the balcony itself. You follow the same method. You take a container, make holes to it, and add potting mixture to it, and then sow seeds. That's it. And for buying seeds, you don't have to go anywhere. Coriander seeds available in a kitchen. You can use the same. Methi seeds available in kitchen. Tomato seeds. Tomatoes, when you crush the tomatoes, you will get seeds. You just place the seeds on a tissue paper, let the seeds dry, and then you sow the seeds. You sow that. You can sow the tissue paper that was dried with tomato seeds, can be sowed in the soil, and it will produce plants. Potatoes can also be grown, but that is seasonal. Yes, tomatoes can be grown in balcony garden. Another important thing for growing vegetables, you must have sunlight of 3 to 4 hours at least. If your balcony or if your terrace gets about 3 to 4 hours of direct sunlight, you can grow vegetables. If the sunlight is not sufficient, at least try growing leafy vegetables or at least try growing ornamentals. You guys interested to know about strawberries? How did you like the fruits? Are they look delicious? Strawberries are actually seasonal fruits, and the planting season would be starting from August till the month of November. All right. That is the end of my session.
Did you get any buttons from YouTube?
Yeah, I did. Silver play button. I could not cover everything about gardening in a short session.
Self-sustainable from your terrace garden?
I am kind of self-sustainable, but I do buy something from the outside market. Like I said about onions cannot be produced whole the year. That I buy from market.
You have silver play button.
I do have.
What made you came to this school?
What made me? I got an opportunity. It's a privilege given to me, so I can come here and give presentation.
When you will end this growing plants?
When I die.
Content creation.
Interesting question again. I wanted to share the knowledge I have and learn from my audience as well. They share a lot of questions so that I can research and learn from them.
What is your most popular video?
Popular video, I do lot of gardening tours as well. నాగన్న స్కూల్లో అంతా మంచిగా మొక్కలన్నీ పెంచుతాడండి. నా వీడియోస్ చూస్తారు మీరు?
చాలా చూస్తాం.
చాలా చూస్తారా?
ఇంటింటికి పోయి అన్ని చేసేది.
Do you guys know what are you planting here?
It's tomato.
What is this?
Mirchi.
And this one?
Mirchi.
Mirchi as well. పెయింట్ బకెట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదండి, అవి పడేయకుండా స్కూల్కి పెయింట్ చేసినవన్నీ ఇట్లా అరేంజ్ చేసుకొని లీఫ్ కంపోస్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఆ కంపోస్ట్ వేసి పెంచుతున్నారు అనమాట. ఇది నాకు గిఫ్ట్ వచ్చిందండి స్కూల్ తరఫున. స్కూల్కి ప్రముఖ గార్డెనర్ అవును, మీరు అది చేశారు కదా, వీటికి ఇట్లా అల్లి చేశారు కదా, అక్కడ ఎట్లా చేసారు? అది
మామూలుగా చేసి ఇట్లా ఉంచేసి ఇట్లా బెడ్ చేసేసి
విరిగిపోవట్లా
మెత్తగా చేయాలి సార్. కొంచెం ఇట్లా మెత్తగా చేసిన తర్వాత మెత్తగా చేసిన తిరవాలి, లేకపోతే ఇలా విరిగిపోతుంది
కదా.
Excuse me, YouTube channel is there, like ORG. Hello, I actually know you.
You know me?
Yeah, I have seen a lot of your videos.
స్కూల్లో లెమన్ గ్రాస్ పెంచుతున్నారు, పసుపు ఉంది అక్కడ, అండ్ ఇక్కడ వాము ఆకు పెంచుతున్నారు. ఇన్సులిన్ అయితే ఎంతో మందికి ఇచ్చారంట. ఇవన్నీ థర్మాకోల్ బాక్సెస్ అండి. జస్ట్ మినిట్. యా షూర్, టేక్.
Even here.
యా డెఫినెట్లీ.
Thank you so much.
ఇట్స్ మై ప్లెజర్. మేడం నాకు చెప్తున్నప్పుడు ఆ మేడం ఫేస్లో ఎంత ఆనందం అనిపించింది అంటే, స్కూల్ని ఫస్ట్ చూసినప్పుడు, అంటే నేను ఈ వేలోనే ట్రావెల్ చేస్తుంటా, ఎప్పుడు ఆ చుట్టూ ఉన్న పెద్ద మొక్కలు, వేప చెట్టు, చింత చెట్టు అవన్నీ కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటాయి, కానీ వెజిటబుల్ గార్డెన్ ఉందని అయితే నేను అనుకోలే. చూసాక మేడం చెప్తుంటే ఎంత ఆనందంగా చెప్తున్నారంటే, ఇవి పెంచుతున్నామని. చాలా కష్టపడుతూ పెంచుతున్నారు. చాలా స్కూల్స్ ఇన్స్పైర్ అవ్వాలి. ఇక్కడ లోటస్ కూడా ఉంది, అండ్ ఇక్కడ కొన్ని ఆర్నమెంటల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇది బ్రహ్మకమలం ప్లాంట్, డ్రాగన్ ఫ్రూట్. రెడ్దా ఇది? రెడ్ కలర్ డ్రాగన్ ఫ్రూట్ అంట బకెట్లో ఉంది.
Thanks, Andy. You came all the way.
థ్యాంక్స్ a lot for the opportunity.
So, how are our children? Did they
They are really curious.
interacted well?
They interacted really well. చాలా బాగా చాలా ఇంట్రెస్ట్గా విన్నారు చెప్పినవి. మంచి మంచి క్వశ్చన్స్.
మట్లో చేయి పెడితే మట్ అయిపోతుంది జర్మ్స్ అది ఇది అంటారు. పాతకాలం పద్ధతి ఏంటి మట్లో
ఆట ఆడి మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ అయింది మళ్ళీ ప్రెసెంట్ జనరేషన్ దేర్ ఇస్ స్పెషల్లీ క్లాస్ ఫర్ ద కిడ్స్
చేస్తున్నాం.
దే ఆర్ ప్లేయింగ్ విత్ సాయిల్ అండ్
ఇది ఈ వీడియోలో మీకు నచ్చిందని అనుకుంటున్నా. ఇలాంటి ప్రజెంటేషన్స్ ఇంకా ఎన్నో ఇవ్వాలి, ఎంతోమందిని మోటివేట్ చేయాలి, నాకు ఇంకా అవకాశాలు మీరు కల్పించాలని ఆశిస్తున్నా. అండ్ వన్స్ అగైన్ నాకు ఇంత మంచి ఆపర్చునిటీ ఇచ్చినందుకు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్కూల్ వాళ్ళకి అండ్ సిటీ ఆఫ్ టెర్రస్ గార్డెన్స్ గ్రూప్ వాళ్ళకి అందరికీ నా అభినందనలు, నా ధన్యవాదాలు.